Spend a chill Saturday with me that does not include spending a ton of money. As much as I would love to go to Starbucks and go shopping every Saturday, we got a budget, honey. So I start off every day with salt and some water, and I like to add a little bit of lime just to kind of make it less salty. Apparently it really helps with your hydration or making sure you're not dehydrated. Heard it on a podcast, hope it's true. And then I like to just do a kitchen reset in the morning. So if I have anything in the dishwasher that was cleaned last night, I'll put that away. If there's any dishes in the sink, I will clean those. And then I like to do my supplements so I don't forget later in the day to take them, because that's usually what happens if I don't do it first thing. Omega-3, vitamin D, an alpha brain, which is like a nootropic, and iron supplement, if anyone's interested. And then I had some dishes that were sitting in the sink. So like I said, I just like to get this all out of the way. So then it's starting from scratch. You look around the house and everything is tidy. And although I'll just start cooking and making more dishes anyways, it just feels better to get it out of the way. And it also feels kind of satisfying to just do stuff first thing in the morning. You feel okay, it started the day off right. And just in case shit went down at any point, I had Yukon holding down the fort. No one would dare to mess around with that mean mug. And then I try and wait an hour and a half before having my first morning coffee, because apparently if you let your cortisol levels kind of even out, it's better. But it didn't last quite that long this morning. But look at how fucking beautiful that coffee is. One of the more aesthetic ones I've done. I just like to froth up whatever creamer I have. This one was a sugar-free or fat-free or whatever French vanilla, and then a little cinnamon on top. And I've been working on this set of nightstands, so I went out and sanded down the repairs that I had done the night before that were now nice and hardened up. I used an electric sander for most of it and then just hand sanded the last little bit. And I've been really loving this primer from Fusion Mineral Paint. It's called Ultra Grip. You can see it is clear, which is what I like about it, because I did my first coat, then realized I needed to do some repairs, and then could go through and it's not going to affect, it's not going to be starting from pure white and trying to get it dark again, you know what I mean? And I had this little side table sitting around forever in my inventory. I was like, okay, I just need to get this done and whip it out. So I'm using Everett by Fusion Mineral Paint on this. I love the color, and I didn't have a lot left, so it's the perfect amount just for a little nightstand. And because I slept in a bit today, it was already noon, so I'm just going to eat up these leftovers from a couple nights ago and mix up my athletic greens, which I also like to do earlier in the day so that I don't forget to do it. It just feels so good to drink this. I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel healthy when I have it. I like the taste of it. It's all good. And then I sat down to eat and drink, getting caught up on Katie Scott's latest upload on YouTube. She did a very cool makeover using this roller that is like a crocodile print, which was super unique. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. And then headed upstairs to put the bed together. Number one piece of advice, if you have a partner, get 2 duvets. It makes all the difference. No hogging of the blankets to be had. And then brushed my teeth, couple puppy pets. Another pro tip, if you don't have an electric toothbrush, highly recommend. I don't know why I never had one of these when I was younger, but makes it so much better, and your teeth feel so much more clean. By this point, Yukon wasn't on the best watch. He was really trying to stay awake, but he was a little bit tired by now, so we'll forgive him. Then it was time for an outfit change. Look at that seamless transition. Wow, who is she? But it's Canada, so we need a sweater. Much better. Not so great of a transition, but we work with what we got. So because I'm in Canada, it gets really dark really early, so I wanted to utilize the daylight that I had for a couple of hours. So I went down to my decor storage space and wanted to find some stuff to stage a liquor cabinet that I recently finished and will be posting for sale. The classic that works for pretty much literally any piece is to get a few brass candlesticks. You can see I have a little collection here from the thrift store. And then just something neutral. I like to bring a little texture in if I can. So this little, I don't know what you would call it, bowl of, I was going to say porcupines. Wow, that's awkward. Of pine cones brings in a little bit of a warmth and texture, and Yukon approves. He was, as always, keeping an eye on things, getting my way. And then I thought it'd be fun to just show you my process of how I get my product photos. So first things first, get the dog out because he's going to inevitably walk in front of the camera. And with the decor, I don't want to do too much so that it distracts from the piece, but I kind of want to highlight it. but also, like, people aren't super creative a lot of the time, so you want to kind of show them what they could do if they haven't necessarily, like, thought about what they want to put in their space. So you want to make it, like, really accessible. Right here, I'm just going to grab a different one because I realized that one of the candlestick holders was too short. You couldn't really see it at the angle that I was taking photos. So you can see, there's a lot of, like, nitpicking and changing things around that no one's actually going to probably notice, but I notice it, whatever. I like to also do, like, a few different types of decor and then, like, determine once I look at the photos which one looks best. And it's also nice if I have a couple, like, styles of decor that I can do on it. I'll do both and then post both because, people have different style preferences. I also want to show off, like, what the piece actually looks like and get close-ups and make sure, like, you can see I'm wiping off the dust that might be on the handles, getting a photo to see the sheen and, like, the finish so I can get, like, proper product photos, while always nonstop wiping it down because there's inevitably Yukon hair all over it. The realities of living with a Malamute puppy. And because this is a bar cabinet, I wanted to obviously stage it with, like, bar type items. So I usually just grab, like, a few things that I feel like are the right vibe, and then I'll just play with them and see, like, what looks best aesthetically, and especially from, like, the angles that I'm trying to take the photos at, just to see. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I feel like I have an idea of what, like, feels right. And for this process, I just recommend taking more photos than you're gonna need, and you can go through after and delete the ones that are, like, not it. Oh, good close up on how dirty my countertops are. So again, just wiping things down, making sure everything's nice and clean, but also I try and wait till it's dried after I've wiped it down. Sometimes I get impatient, but so taking photos at those different angles and showcasing, like, all the things that a buyer would be interested in knowing about the piece. For example, there's a liner in the drawer, seeing the dovetailed joints on the sides there of that drawer, seeing the maker's mark, if that's something that's important to people. Please hold while I rearrange. And you can also see in my camera, I've made it, like, thinner, if that makes sense. I do the 3x4, or the square, feature in the, like, measurements of the photo, so that it's just, like, takes away any of the stuff around the piece that doesn't necessarily need to be in the view of the camera, if that makes sense. Anyways, and it was walk time. It was very cold. I looked super cool in my grade 9 ski jacket. This squirrel gave zero fucks about the 100-pound beast that was staring at it. Good for it. And you can see a large majority of our walk is just waiting for Yukon to decide that he's ready to go again and ready to move. Came home and ate the leftover buffalo cauliflower that I forgot to take a photo of before I consumed, and second coffee of the day. And then it was time for Yukon to eat shortly after. Usually around 5 is when he'll have his dinner. We put it in the snuffle mat so it takes longer for him to eat it. And then I came back out to the workshop to admire my work. Loving this color. This is the hardware I'm going to use on it. I'm going to do one more layer of paint and then top coat, but it was coming along great. And I've been working away at these custom nesting tables and just scraping off the old finish using my Purdy carbide scraper and these little contour scraper blades. They work really well at getting into those little grooves and edges that are just, like, awkward and so annoying to hand sand. So I just have been plugging away for, like, an hour here and there on them so that I don't get super annoyed and, like, frustrated with them, because it's a lot of little intricate details that I need to knock off. Then I went to the gym and brought these horrific Crocs. If anyone wants to buy me new Crocs, feel free. Did some cardio and then some strength training. It was leg day, getting a pump on. Came home and somehow fit all of this into one wrap. Don't ask me how I did it. I am a magician. With some tomato and pickled eggs, which was super tasty. Finished the night watching a comedy special with my husband. This one on Netflix was really good and had a lot of great comics. Definitely recommend.